there's a lot of stuff going on in regarding music and typically hip hop rap, and it mentions Eminem, Ezekiel Miller, who goes by Ez Mill, the Game, veteran rapper Melle Mel, and Generation Z, typically known as Gen Z. Now, Ez Mill has made a whole bunch of songs. Most of them were in English, and there was like one or two songs in Tagalog, which is a Filipino language. Actor Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned in recent Spider-Man movies starring Tom Holland and Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon, that one, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, and whatever's come is coming next. Yeah, that guy. He speaks Tagalog too. And Eminem and Dr. Dre came across him, and they signed him to co-signed him to Shady Records and Aftermath Entertainment. And while Esmil has a whole bunch of songs off his former label, which is FFP Records. He released a song called Realest, which features Eminem, which that is the only song that off the Shady Aftermath, the second and third label. So she's releasing an album called Duality, which the A is replaced by a 4 and T is replaced by a 7. You know, people these days. And Esmil is hyped up that he managed to get hit up by Eminem and Dr. Dre, and he got noticed by them. And his verse 1 and verse 2 is basically mentioning that he teaming up with Eminem, making a hit, and also mentioning 8 Mile, Eminem's character, B Rabbit, the rap name, and when Eminem plays that character, and Kim Basinger plays the mom, and then Eminem in verse 3, and then he just slides in, and this is the Game, Generation Z, and veteran rapper Melle Mel. Which, if you ever heard the Game, he released at least a 10-minute diss track, which he was basically rambling on. And if you already know the Game, in the old days, he said, "Don't mess with the white boy." So he was basically defending Eminem from any haters of judging him because of his skin color. And then now he goes against him and drops the Black Slim Shady. And then he hired some woman who pretends to be Hailie Mathers, Eminem's daughter, and acting like she got kidnapped by the Game and held hostage. And he thought that he was acting so tough about that, and which is off his the Game's album Drillmatic, which probably was the only good song with probably that Chris Brown collab. And you know Chris Brown, he any song with Chris Brown, he makes it a hit. And Chris Brown has made a lot of songs with different genres, the people pop artists. Yes, even Rihanna, and they did make up. And recently he made a song with Ciara. and the game received a lot of backlash for his song being trash. And Eminem didn't even have to respond because people who were reacting to the game's album and uh, and that the Black Slim Shady, yeah, they were really trashing him and saying Machine Gun Kelly's Rap Devil was better. Now, you know Generation Z. Eminem released an album called Re- Revival in 2017, which had some political songs, and there was some different songs. He had Ed Sheeran for the first time. He collaborated with Pink for the first time. The second time, where and they also had Alicia Keys and also Kalani, which he also made a second version, which was a bit long. First verse, which had to do with in remembrance for the school shootings, San majority, Stoneman Douglas, and Sandy Hook, where Nicholas Cruz shot up a school. That one, and people hated him because he was and because he was also dissing Donald Trump, and there a lot of his fan base is either they voted for Donald Trump or they liked Donald Trump, and people were getting oh he didn't vote for Donald Trump, we hate you, and Eminem dropped Chloroseptic with remix with 2 Chainz on it. With 2 Chainz actually sounded good, way different from the usual style, and Pressure sounded a bit different. And then Kamikaze happened, and he also slaughtered his fan base for because of that. And then now Eminem shoots back at Gente yet again with the not just all gonna kill on the Kamikaze, but now this. And then he claiming that, oh, you guys don't even know how raps sound like. And Eminem has been listening to people who were way before him, including Ice-T, which his uncle played some Ice-T for him, and that was an influence. And then you know how Eminem got started his rap career. You know, some woman signed him for the Rap Olympics. He lost, you know, his then Jimmy Ovine and Dr. Dre, that story. And the rest is history. And then this is Melle Mel, because Melle Mel said some pretty racist words, saying Eminem is only successful because he's white. Now, you know, anyone who says this kind of thing against a person who is white, just about anyone who's any skin color is racist. You know? Anyone can be racist, even even white people, and and vice versa. And this is another reason why Martin Luther King Jr. is rolling in his grave right now. Again, and not just the reason what Black Lives Matter is doing. So Eminem, this is Melle Mel, while also referencing the Fast and Furious 5, which is a rap group that Melle Mel was on. and mentioning in one line lost his asteroids, steroids, and Melle Mel dropped around the 1 minute 20-second diss track where he like sounded like a big dog, pissed off Chihuahua, and he thought he could just beat Eminem saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And whoever was the producer for that song was must have been pretty embarrassed. And a lot of music reactors or song reactors or just about any reactor was oh, Melle Mel. And Melle Mel is pretty famous. He's a veteran rapper. So they would think, oh, he's a veteran rapper. He's pretty good. I'm a big fan of him. Can he that? Is this the Eminem end of Eminem? And they were like, nah. People were like saying Nick Cannon was better. And a lot of people were trashing on Nick Cannon. And Nick Cannon had a lot of beef, a long time beef with Eminem. And not just that, not just 2019-2020 when Eminem mentioned him on his feature with Fat Joe and Dre's song, which also Mary Jane Blige also featured on Lord Above. When Eminem mentioned his relationship with Mariah Carey, and then Nick Cannon got pissed off and made 3 diss tracks against him. Well, the first one being featuring Suge Knight, who is a former Death Row Records label owner, who hates Dr. Dre for starting at Aftermath Records and Entertainment and leaving Death Row Records. And then the second one and third one, it was just waste of air. And Eminem just dropped a song called No Regrets with featuring Don Toliver, who's known for collaborating with Travis Scott. While mentioning Machine Gun Kelly and Kill Shot, the song he dissed Machine Gun Kelly on, which Machine Gun Kelly dropped the Hotel Diablo, and now he's doing punk rock with Avril Lavigne, Travis Barker, Youngblood, and Jaden. And about the game. Eminem mentioned the game's music. You're only playing. Your music is only being played in a club because you perform in them. And one of Eminem's hit songs, Smack That, which is not his song, but it's off Akon. Which in 2005 they collaborated off Akon's album. And Akon is a pretty good hip hop artist. And then Eminem produced that, and Eminem was on verse 2, and that song is being played in the club all the time. And not only that, you gotta give credit for Eminem for influencing a lot of hip hop artists, whether they're African American or they're Caucasian or maybe around the world, even in Europe and Africa, the Latinos and even in Asia. because they're like people like Colombian hip hop artist J Balvin. He said, "We just mumble whatever you guys are saying." So he does hip hop in Spanish. Recently made a song with the Ed Sheeran. There are Indians who are rapping in their language, Hindi or whatever other language they're speaking, and they most likely listen to Eminem more than other artists like around Eminem's starting older collaborators like Tupac Shakur or remix for Notorious B.I.G. or some other hip hop artists that people over in North America know, but the rest of the world I've never heard of unless Eminem mentioned them. And they just heard of Melle Mel because Eminem mentioned him, and the game they've heard of them because he mentioned them, or even Machine Gun Kelly because oh, who's Machine Gun Kelly? Basically, a guy who was born in Cleveland, Ohio, USA, single single parent, similar situation like Eminem, but grew up in a home instead of a trailer park. And also there are Chinese rappers and Korean rappers like G Dragon from Big Bang or Suga from and RM from BTS. Guess who they may have heard of? Eminem. Japanese rappers, Eminem. And Eminem has performed in these countries, so yeah, they know. Even in the Pacific Coast, they know who he is. Probably in the top 100, top 50, top 20, top 10, top 5, or top 3. They will probably name Eminem way before even their own. You know, someone who's that good, who influenced them. Just like some people who were interested in cooking got inspired by Gordon Ramsay. And people should not be judged for the color of their skin, but their characteristics or how they treat other people. And Martin Luther King Jr. fought for that. You know, people like Nelson Mandela fought for that. And people were trying to oppose that because, oh, white men bad. We should take them down. It's their fault. Instead of making friends with them, working together with them. And, you know, the problem with Gen Z right now, especially with the Black Lives Matter thing that's going on, and the thing is, this kind of stuff is affecting them, but it's affected your ancestors. It's not affecting your right now. And what do you think? You have to talk about that. And Eminem does have a good point that people, Gen Z doesn't know how the things actually go. So you might as well shut up about it. And you think Macklemore is better, or Little Uzi Vert, or Takashi 6ix9ine, or Little Pump, Little Van. or these other people, they only have producers who produce good beats, and people want to vibe to it instead of talent. What the lyrics mean, or how good are they singing? Do they even have respect for a former artist? Like, they were trashing on former artists like Tupac Shakur or Notorious B.I.G. or Eazy-E. If you have no respect for the people who paved the road for you, yeah, you might as well shut up. And the fact that the people like Little Pump think people want to be like him, but then and he invited Little Wayne on his song, and then Little Wayne just beat him on his own song. Yeah, who wants to be like you when when you have no respect for the ones before you? So these guys, they wouldn't even be there if any rapper in the world, they would not start to kickstart their rapping careers or hip hop unless Eminem showed up and started it. And it's all thanks to Jimmy Ovine and whoever, the lady who recognized him as from the rap, inviting him to Rap Olympics, and of course Dr. Dre. No, Melle Mel, he just ruined his career, and he could have just appreciated Eminem for thanks for making hip hop better, but he decided to just trash him and ended up doing a career suicide, killed his own career. This is another Benzino and Ja Rule situation. And that happened to Melle Mel as well. And even Melle Mel is he finally said, I was wrong to admit it, to say that. And there have been a lot of hip hop reactors who's like, I was a big fan of them, and I'm still a big fan of them, but what happened to Melle Mel? And you know the rules are when if you're trying to throw this at Eminem, don't go first, don't go second, don't mention his ex-wife, Kim, or and especially not his daughter, or his adopted daughters, Elena and Whitney. Because he will tear you alive, and yet it's a career suicide. Benzino learned his lesson. Just recently, after his daughter Coi Leray got involved, and she said, I'm a fan of Eminem, and whatever my dad did, don't mention him. I want no part of this. And Ja Rule, of course, he's still bitter, but he'd better show it up. The other people are done over with what's cannabis, Everlast, Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst. All of them made up or went their own path, and like, we're cool with each other. You do you, you do you, I do me. Mariah Carey, her music hadn't been too good after she dropped Obsessed. She used to had high record sales, and she's only famous for dropping All I Want for Christmas Is You, featuring Justin Bieber. It plays every single Christmas season, and every staff worker is tired of it. Nick Cannon, on the other hand, of course, he's competing with Elon Musk for, let's see how many babies we can make. And Machine Gun Kelly, he's only known for collaborating with Travis Barker. And yeah, people will only remember for Not Alike featuring What's the 5'9", Kill Rap Devil, which he used the same producer, Ronnie J. And he used someone else too to write it. And he used auto-tune writing that verse. And thought writing choke, oh, you're going to choke with him, you hear this, and your beard is weird was good, and of course Kill Shots ended his rapping career. Now he's being successful in another genre of music, but also got another beef with Slipknot. But that's another thing. You know how that works. So that's a lot of problems that people have against themselves, or against Eminem regarding his skin color, or they're just jealous that he's not being successful and inspiring a lot of other people, whether they're also same skin color as him, Caucasian, or maybe they're also African American, like Kendrick Lamar or Big Sean or J. Cole, or even Asians, or across the pond, or in the Pacific Coast, or Latinos. Just respect Eminem for who he is, just having talent about it. Because we don't want Martin Luther King Jr. Rolling in his grave, do we? And a lot of African Americans who hear this kind of stuff, who respect Eminem for his talents. Yeah, just stop. The guy's 50 years old and he's talented. He's still going. Show some respect. And even his previous people before him, and some people who came after him too. You know how lucky if you get mentioned by people like Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or Joyner Lucas, or even get to collaborate with them. Joyner Lucas and Kendrick Lamar got to collaborate with them different years, but and even Ed Sheeran listened to his music, Eminem's music, and learned to talk properly. He used to have a stutter and people made fun of him, and now he's famous for pop music. Collaborated with Taylor Swift, J Balvin, and a whole bunch, and even Eminem 3 times. And even got to talk to him. People need to show some respect, and it's not doesn't have to be with skin color. And also how you treat your fans too, or how good you are, or learn to adapt. or maybe compliment people who came after you, like Eminem does.